High above the bustling planets and solar systems of the Milky Way, the Grand Galactic Council convened. This esteemed assembly consisted of representatives from the most advanced alien civilizations, each race boasting ancient histories, towering technologies, and mighty imperial ambitions. At the heart of the council's chamber sat Psylocke, the dignified Archlord of the Krygian Dominion. His four eyes surveyed the gathering with a cool, calculating gaze. Centuries of conquest and expansion had made the Krygians feel invincible, their military might unparalleled in the known galaxy. Once again, we must address the issue of these humans, Psylocke rumbled, his voice deep and resonant. This primitive species from a backwater planet dares to seek membership in our illustrious council. A murmur of agreement swept through the assembled aliens. The humans were indeed an oddity, a young civilization that had only recently begun venturing beyond their home world, armed with rudimentary technology and weapons. In the eyes of the Galactic Council, they were little more than infants, unworthy of a seat at the table of the galaxy's true powers. Kylith, the regal empress of the cerulean hegemony, leaned forward, her gossamer wings rustling. "The humans have nothing to offer us," she said disdainfully. "Their crude firearms and chemical rockets are no match for our plasma cannons and hyperdrives. Why should we lower ourselves to their level?" A chorus of agreement rose up from the other representatives. The humans, they argued, were too primitive, too backward to contribute anything of value to the Galactic Council. Their application should be swiftly rejected, their ambitions crushed before they could become a nuisance. But then, the lone voice spoke up, cutting through the din. "Perhaps we should at least hear what the humans have to say," suggested Zarthos, the elder statesman of the Vespian Dominion. "Their young civilization may yet surprise us." Psylocke fixed Zarthos with a withering glare. "The humans will be given 5 minutes to plead their case," he conceded, though his tone made it clear he expected nothing of value to come from the encounter. The chamber fell silent as a holographic projection flickered to life, revealing the image of a human representative, a tall, imposing figure with a stern expression. This was Alexis Winters, the human ambassador to the Galactic Council. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council," Alexis began, her voice clear and unwavering. "We, the people of Earth, come before you today with a simple request, to be recognized as equals amongst the great civilizations of this galaxy." Kylith let out a derisive snort, but Alexis pressed on, undaunted. "We may be a young species, but we have proven our resilience and adaptability in the face of adversity. Our technology may not yet rival your own, but we have developed weapons and tools that have allowed us to thrive on our homeworld." At this, Psylocke leaned forward, his eyes narrowing. "Weapons, you say?" he rumbled. "Pray tell, human, what manner of primitive firearms do you possess that could possibly interest the Galactic Council?" Alexis straightened her shoulders, unflinching in the face of the Archlord's disdain. "Our weapons may surprise you, Psylocke of the Krygian Dominion. We would be honored to demonstrate their capabilities, if the Council would hear us out." A hush fell over the chamber as the Galactic Council considered this unexpected proposal. Would the humans truly dare to challenge the technological superiority of the great alien empires? And if so, what secrets did these primitive weapons hold? The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as the human ambassador's bold request hung in the air. Would the esteemed alien leaders actually allow these primitive humans to demonstrate their supposed weapons capabilities? Psylocke, the imposing Archlord of the Krygian Dominion, leaned back in his seat, his four eyes regarding the human representative with a mix of disdain and curiosity. "Very well, human," he rumbled. "You have 5 minutes to impress us with your so-called advanced weaponry." Alexis Winters inclined her head respectfully. "Thank you, Archlord. We are honored by your willingness to hear us out." With a flick of her hand, Alexis summoned a holographic display, revealing a series of schematics and diagrams. "The weapon I wish to demonstrate is known as a railgun," she explained. "It uses electromagnetic coils to launch a dense metal projectile at incredible speeds, far exceeding the capabilities of our chemical-propelled firearms. The alien representatives murmured skeptically, but Alexis pressed on, undaunted. This railgun can penetrate the most advanced armor plating and deliver devastating destructive power at long ranges. I believe it will prove a valuable asset in the defense of our homeworld and the galaxy at large. Psylocke's eyes narrowed as he studied the holographic schematics. Interesting, he rumbled. Yet I fail to see how this railgun could possibly match the firepower of our plasma cannons or the precision of our charged particle beam weapons. Before Alexis could respond, a sudden alert blared through the council chamber. Screens flickered to life, displaying a map of the galaxy and a swarm of red icons converging on the outer systems. Emergency! A frantic voice crackled over the comm. The Kelveri horde has launched a massive offensive. They're sweeping through our outer colonies, overwhelming our defenses. Kyleth, the regal empress of the cerulean hegemony, rose from her seat, her gossamer wings fluttering with urgency. This is an outrage. We must mobilize our fleets at once to push back the Kelveri invaders. But Psylocke raised a clawed hand, silencing the empress. Wait, he rumbled, his gaze fixed on the human ambassador. Perhaps the humans can demonstrate the capabilities of their railgun, as they claim. Alexis met the Archlord's gaze evenly. We will gladly offer our assistance, Psylocke, but only if the Galactic Council recognizes the humans as full and equal members of this esteemed body. The alien representatives erupted into a cacophony of protest, but Psylocke raised a hand, silencing them. Very well, human. Prove the worth of your weapons, and we shall reconsider your application. With a nod, Alexis turned to the holographic display, her fingers flying across the controls. Attention, all Galactic Council forces, she announced, her voice clear and authoritative. This is Ambassador Alexis Winters of Earth. We are deploying our railgun technology to aid in the defense of your outer colonies. Stand by for a demonstration of its power. The council members watched with bated breath as the holographic display showed the human railgun system powering up, its coils crackling with energy. And then, with a deafening roar, a projectile the size of a small spacecraft streaked across the star-studded void, slamming into the heart of the Kelveri armada with devastating force. Psylocke's eyes widened in surprise as the Kelveri ships were torn apart, their shields and armor offering no protection against the railgun's incredible kinetic energy. The Galactic Council representatives sat in stunned silence, their previous doubts and dismissals now crumbling in the face of this startling display of human firepower. Alexis allowed herself a small smile. I believe, she said calmly, that the humans have more to offer the Galactic Council than you may have thought. The Kelveri horde's massive invasion fleet lay in smoldering ruins, their once fearsome warships torn apart by the devastating power of the human railgun. Across the Galactic Council chamber, the alien representatives sat in stunned silence, their expressions a mixture of awe and disbelief. Psylocke, the imposing Archlord of the Krygian Dominion, slowly turned his gaze towards the human ambassador, Alexis Winters. Most impressive, he rumbled, his voice betraying a hint of reluctant respect. Alexis inclined her head, her expression calm and confident. We are pleased to have been of assistance, Archlord. As you can see, the humans possess technologies that may prove invaluable in the defense of the galaxy. Kyleth, the regal empress of the cerulean hegemony, shifted uneasily in her seat, her gossamer wings rustling. This is most unexpected, she admitted, her tone laced with a tinge of grudging acknowledgement. We had greatly underestimated the capabilities of your species, human. A murmur of agreement rippled through the assembled alien leaders. Their previous dismissal of the humans and their primitive weapons now seemed woefully misguided. The railgun's devastating power had shattered their preconceptions, forcing them to reconsider the true potential of this young civilization. Zarthos, the elder statesman of the Vespian Dominion, leaned forward, his wizened features thoughtful. Perhaps it is time we reevaluate our stance on human membership in the Galactic Council, he suggested, his voice carrying a note of cautious optimism. Thylof's 4 eyes narrowed as he considered Zarthos's words. The humans have indeed proven their worth in battle, he conceded, but their technology remains crude compared to our own. We must be certain that they can truly contribute to the Council's affairs before granting them full membership. Alexis straightened her shoulders, undaunted by the Arklord's continued skepticism. We understand your reservations, Tylof. However, we believe that with the opportunity to collaborate and share knowledge, the humans can become valued partners in the Galactic Council's mission. The alien representatives murmured amongst themselves, their expressions a mix of grudging acceptance and lingering doubt. The humans had undoubtedly earned their attention, but could they truly be trusted to wield such formidable weapons responsibly? As the debate raged on, a sudden alert flashed across the Council's holographic displays. Emergency! A voice crackled over the comm. The Kelveri horde is regrouping, and their fleet is converging on our inner colonies. We require immediate assistance. Thylot's wings fluttered with urgency. We must act swiftly to defend our citizens, she declared, casting a pointed look in Alexis' direction. Will the humans lend their aid once more? Alexis met the Empress's gaze evenly. We will, but only if the Galactic Council formally recognizes the humans as full and equal members of this body. Tylof's clawed hand tightened on the arm of his chair, his expression torn between grudging respect and deep-seated mistrust. Very well, human, he growled. You shall have your chance to prove your worthiness. But know that we will be watching you closely. As the Galactic Council launched its counterattack against the Kelveri invaders, the humans' railguns once again proved their devastating effectiveness, turning the tide of the battle. Witnessing the sheer power and precision of these primitive human weapons, the alien leaders could no longer deny the potential that this young civilization possessed. The Galactic Council had been forced to swallow its pride, and in doing so, had opened the door to a new era of cooperation and growth. The humans had emerged from this trial as equals, their place in the grand tapestry of the galaxy firmly secured. The dust had barely settled on the Kelveri invasion when the Galactic Council found itself facing a new and unexpected challenge: the humans' demand for full membership in the esteemed assembly. Alexis Winters, the human ambassador, stood before the council, her expression resolute. Esteemed members of the Galactic Council, she began, her voice clear and unwavering. The humans have proven our worth in the defense of your colonies. We have earned the right to be recognized as equals among the great civilizations of this galaxy. Xyloth, the Arklord of the Krygian Dominion, leaned back in his seat, his 4 eyes narrowing. The humans have indeed performed admirably in battle, he rumbled, his tone grudging. But membership in the Galactic Council is not something to be taken lightly. You are a young species with much to learn. Kyleth, the Empress of the Cerulean Hegemony, nodded in agreement, her gossamer wings rustling softly. The humans have shown us the potential of their weapons, but that does not automatically qualify them for a seat on this council. We have centuries of experience and tradition to uphold. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the assembled alien representatives, but Alexis refused to be deterred. We are well aware of the Galactic Council's long history and the weight of your traditions, she acknowledged. But we believe that the humans can bring a fresh perspective, new ideas, and a willingness to collaborate that will benefit us all. Zarthos, the elder statesman of the Vespian Dominion, raised a gnarled hand, silencing the dissenting voices. The human ambassador raises a valid point, he said, his weathered features thoughtful. The humans have proven their mettle and their technology has saved our colonies from the Kelveri onslaught. Perhaps it is time we consider granting them a seat at the table. Xylot's eyes narrowed, and for a moment, it seemed as if he might object. But then something in the Arklord's expression shifted, a begrudging respect flickering in his gaze. Very well, he rumbled. The humans shall be granted a seat on the Galactic Council, with all the rights and responsibilities that entails. A hush fell over the chamber as the Galactic Council representatives processed Psylof's words. The humans, once dismissed as primitive and inconsequential, were now to be welcomed as equals, their voices carrying the same weight as the most ancient and powerful civilizations in the galaxy. Alexis incurred a respectful nod, her composure betraying only the slightest hint of triumph. On behalf of the people of Earth, we are honored to accept this invitation. We look forward to working alongside you, the esteemed members of the Galactic Council, to build a brighter future for all. As the human ambassador took her place among the alien representatives, the dynamics within the council chamber began to shift. The once arrogant alien leaders now eyed the humans with a newfound sense of caution and curiosity, their dismissive attitudes replaced by a cautious acknowledgement of the humans' potential. For the Galactic Council, the arrival of this young and dynamic civilization marked the beginning of a new era, one that would test the very foundations of their age-old traditions and challenge them to adapt and evolve in ways they had never imagined. With the humans now firmly established as members of the Galactic Council, the dynamics within the esteemed assembly began to shift in profound ways. The once dismissive alien leaders found themselves confronted with a new, unwavering force, one that was determined to challenge the status quo and reshape the very foundations of the Council. Alexis Winters, the human representative, wasted little time in asserting her species' newfound influence. In the very first council session, she stood to address the gathered leaders, her expression calm but resolute. Honored members of the Galactic Council, she began, her voice carrying a tinge of authority. We, the people of Earth, have come to this assembly with the goal of forging a more equitable and just future for all civilizations in the galaxy. Xyloth, the Archlord of the Krygian Dominion, rumbled a deep sigh, his four eyes narrowing with obvious displeasure. And what, pray tell, does the human delegation consider equitable and just? He asked, his tone dripping with skepticism. Alexis met the Archlord's gaze evenly. For too long, the Galactic Council has been dominated by a small number of powerful civilizations, while countless others have been relegated to the margins, she said. We believe it is time to address the systemic inequalities that have plagued this assembly for centuries. Kylith, the regal empress of the Cerulean hegemony, bristled at Alexis's words, her gossamer wings fluttering with indignation. The Galactic Council was founded on the principle of cooperation among the galaxy's most advanced races, she argued. The humans dare to suggest that our time-honored traditions are unjust. The chamber erupted into a cacophony of dissent as the other alien representatives voiced their own objections to the humans' bold proposals. But Alexis remained undaunted, her unwavering gaze sweeping across the assembly. We do not seek to dismantle the Galactic Council, she clarified. Rather, we wish to build upon its foundations, to create a truly inclusive system that gives every civilization a voice and a stake in the future of the galaxy. Zarthos, the elder statesman of the Vespian Dominion, raised a gnarled hand, silencing the clamor. The human ambassador raises valid concerns, he acknowledged, his weathered features thoughtful. Perhaps it is time we considered reforms to ensure a more equitable distribution of power and resources within the Council. Psylof's four eyes flashed with barely contained anger, but before he could voice his objections, a series of urgent alerts flashed across the Council's holographic displays. Emergency transmission. A frantic voice crackled over the comm. The Kelveri Horde has launched a new offensive, targeting the outer colonies of the Cygnus sector. Our forces are being overwhelmed. Kylith rose from her seat, her wings fluttering with a sense of urgency. We must act quickly to defend our territories, she declared, casting a pointed glare in Alexis's direction. The humans would do well to remember their place and focus on the task at hand, rather than stirring up unnecessary discord. Alexis returned the Empress's gaze unflinchingly. Rest assured, Empress Kylith, the humans will lend their full support in this crisis, she said. But we will also continue to push for the reforms we believe are necessary to strengthen the Galactic Council and ensure a brighter future for all. As the council members rushed to mobilize their fleets against the Kelveri onslaught, the undercurrent of tension and uncertainty within the assembly only grew stronger. The humans had emerged as a powerful force, one that was unafraid to challenge the established order and demand a greater say in the galaxy's affairs. As the Galactic Council scrambled to repel the Kelveri invasion, the tension simmering beneath the surface of the esteemed assembly only continued to escalate. The human representatives, led by the resolute Alexis Winters, had emerged as a powerful force, unafraid to challenge the status quo and demand sweeping reforms. This newfound human influence did not sit well with many of the entrenched alien powers. Xyloth, the Archlord of the Krygian Dominion, and Kyleth, the Empress of the Cerulean Hegemony, were among the most vocal opponents of the humans' bold agenda. In the shadows of the council chamber, the two leaders hatched a scheme, their eyes narrowed with a mixture of fear and resentment. "The humans have grown too bold, Xyloth," Kyleth hissed, her gossamer wings rustling with agitation. "We must find a way to undermine their position and remove them from the council before they can disrupt our power." Xyloth rumbled a deep, contemplative growl. "Perhaps we can provoke a conflict between the humans and another member civilization," he suggested, his clawed fingers drumming against the arm of his chair. "Something that would turn the council against them and discredit their calls for reform." Kyleth's eyes gleamed with a dark satisfaction. Yes, that could work," she murmured. "But we must be subtle, Xyloth. The humans are clever. They will no doubt be watching for any signs of treachery." The two plotters set their scheme in motion, meticulously manipulating the delicate balance of power within the Galactic Council. They stoked tensions between the humans and the representatives of the Vespian Dominion, carefully fanning the flames of mistrust and resentment. However, unbeknownst to Xyloth and Kyleth, Alexis Winters and her human delegation had been anticipating such a move. Recognizing the Archlord and Empress as the most likely instigators, the humans began to quietly gather evidence of their machinations. When the time was right, Alexis stepped forward during a heated council session, her expression calm but resolute. "Honored members of the Galactic Council," she announced, her voice cutting through the din of dissent. "We have uncovered evidence of a plot to undermine the humans and turn this assembly against us." Xyloth and Kyleth stiffened in their seats, their expressions betraying a flicker of worry. "The Archlord of the Krygian Dominion and the Empress of the Cerulean Hegemony have been manipulating the tensions between our civilizations with the goal of discrediting the humans and removing us from the council," Alexis continued, her gaze sweeping across the assembly. A murmur of shock and outrage rippled through the gathered alien leaders, and even Zarthos, the elder statesman of the Vespian Dominion, sat up straighter in his seat, his weathered features etched with a mix of surprise and concern. Xyloth and Kyleth tried to protest, their voices raised in a desperate attempt to defend themselves, but Alexis refused to be silenced. She presented the damning evidence, leaving the council no choice but to acknowledge the truth of the humans' accusations. In the end, the plotters' scheme had been unraveled, their treachery exposed for all to see. The Galactic Council, once divided, now stood united in its condemnation of Xyloth and Kyleth's actions, recognizing the gravity of the threat they had posed to the very foundations of the assembly. As the dust settled, the humans emerged from the ordeal with their reputation and influence intact, a testament to their foresight, resilience, and unwavering commitment to justice within the Galactic Council. The Galactic Council chamber was filled with a somber silence as the gravity of Xyloth and Kyleth's treachery sank in. The once proud Archlord and Empress sat in humiliated silence, their schemes exposed for all to see. Zarthos, the elder statesman of the Vespian Dominion, rose from his seat, his weathered features etched with a mix of disappointment and determination. "This council has been shaken to its core," he declared, his voice carrying a note of authority. "We can no longer ignore the systemic flaws that have allowed such malicious acts to fester within our ranks." Alexis Winters, the human representative, inclined her head in acknowledgement. The humans are ready to work alongside you, Zarthos, to address these issues and implement the necessary reforms, she said, her tone measured but unwavering. Tyloth let out a low, rumbling growl, his 4 eyes narrowing with resentment. The humans have overstepped their bounds, he protested, his claws gripping the arms of his chair. They are still a young and untested civilization. How can we trust them to guide the future of the Galactic Council? But Zarthos raised a gnarled hand, silencing the Archlord. It is precisely because the humans are a fresh and dynamic force that we must heed their counsel, he countered. They have shown us the value of new perspectives and bold thinking. If we are to truly rebuild the trust and unity of this council, we must be willing to change. Kyleth's wings fluttered with barely contained anger, but even she could not deny the truth in Zarthos's words. The humans had uncovered a grave betrayal within the heart of the Galactic Council, and their actions had earned them a newfound respect among the other alien leaders. Slowly, one by one, the representatives of the great civilizations rose to their feet, their expressions a mix of reluctance and cautious optimism. They agreed to the implementation of sweeping reforms, granting the humans a stronger voice and a more equal footing within the Council's decision-making process. As the changes took effect, the dynamics within the Galactic Council began to shift. The once dismissive alien leaders now eyed the humans with a sense of newfound respect and appreciation, recognizing the value they brought to the table. Alexis Winters, standing tall and proud, addressed the assembled representatives. The humans are honored to work alongside you, the esteemed members of the Galactic Council, to forge a brighter future for all civilizations in this galaxy, she said, her voice carrying a note of quiet triumph. Tyloth, his initial resentment now tempered by a grudging respect, inclined his head in acknowledgement. The humans have proven their worth, he rumbled, his tone begrudging but sincere. We would be foolish to continue overlooking their potential. Kyleth, too, had softened her stance, her wings no longer fluttering with hostility. Perhaps, she conceded, the humans can indeed contribute something of value to this council. As the Galactic Council embarked on a new era of cooperation and reform, the once isolated humans found themselves at the forefront of the galaxy's affairs. Their voices, once dismissed, now carried the weight of respected and valued partners, shaping the future of the cosmos alongside the most advanced civilizations. With the Galactic Council reformed and the humans firmly established as respected partners, the stage was set for a new era of cooperation and progress across the galaxy. No longer relegated to the sidelines, the once dismissed human civilization now stood as an equal among the esteemed assembly of advanced alien powers. Alexis Winters, the human representative, wasted no time in leveraging her people's newfound influence. She addressed the council, her expression resolute. Honored members, we have made great strides in addressing the inequalities and shortcomings of this assembly. But our work is far from done. Xyloth, the Archlord of the Krygian Dominion, rumbled a deep sigh, his 4 eyes betraying a hint of reluctant acknowledgement. What more do the humans seek, Ambassador Winters? He asked, his tone less confrontational than it had been in the past. Alexis met the Archlord's gaze evenly. We believe the Galactic Council has a responsibility to uplift and empower the less developed civilizations of this galaxy, she said. Our advanced technologies and resources can be used to help them overcome the challenges they face and to bring them into the fold of our cooperative endeavors. Kyleth, the Empress of the Cerulean Hegemony, stirred in her seat, her gossamer wings rustling softly. The humans make a valid point, she conceded, her expression thoughtful. We have long focused on the concerns of the most powerful civilizations, while neglecting the plight of the smaller, less advanced ones. Zarthos, the elder statesman of the Vespian Dominion, nodded in agreement. It is time we expanded the reach and influence of the Galactic Council to ensure a more equitable and prosperous future for all, he declared, his weathered features etched with a sense of determination. With the support of the other alien leaders, the humans spearheaded a sweeping initiative to provide aid, resources, and technological assistance to the galaxy's less developed civilizations. They shared their advanced knowledge, helped build infrastructure, and worked to foster cooperation and integration among the diverse inhabitants of the cosmos. As the Galactic Council's sphere of influence expanded, the once isolated humans found themselves at the forefront of a new era of progress and unity. Their innovative solutions and collaborative approach earned them the respect and admiration of their alien counterparts, who now viewed the humans not as upstarts, but as valued partners in shaping the future of the galaxy. Xylov, who had once scoffed at the humans' ambitions, now watched with a sense of grudging pride as the young civilization used its newfound power and influence to uplift and empower the smaller, less fortunate civilizations. Even Gylith, the proud empress, acknowledged the wisdom and foresight behind the humans' actions. "They have truly become the guiding light this galaxy needed," she murmured, her expression a mix of awe and respect. As the years passed, the Galactic Council continued to evolve, becoming a beacon of unity, cooperation, and progress throughout the cosmos. The humans, once dismissed as primitive, now stood as respected leaders, their voices carrying the same weight as the most ancient and powerful civilizations. Alexis Winters, now an elder statesman in her own right, surveyed the transformed Galactic Council with a sense of quiet satisfaction. "We have come a long way, my friends," she said, addressing the assembled alien representatives. "But our journey is far from over. The future of this galaxy rests in our hands, and together we will forge a path to prosperity and harmony that will echo through the eons." With those words, the Galactic Council embarked on a new chapter, guided by the wisdom and vision of the once underestimated human civilization. The galaxy, once divided, now stood united, ready to face the challenges and opportunities that lay ahead.